Number 5 in stock price, which is kind of sad, but we can always just pay debt and rebound at least up to number 4, which is odd. And I can see what is factored into the stock price, right? We see that base is factored into the stock price. HQ is factored into the stock price. But what does HQ mean? I have to assume that it's something like a level 5 HQ, maybe, is worth a lot of money, is worth like $1 million, maybe, for your stock price purposes. I don't know. Did winning factor into that? I don't know. My structures apparently are worth some amount of money, which is odd, because was it structures that I left behind in those old places? Are those still affecting my stock price? I'm sitting on some cash. That at least makes sense, right? I have money, and money is good, right? But where did my money come from? Is it purely from this income minus expenses equals funds? Should I have saved up money and not purchased into the colony, maybe? I'm curious. I don't know. What's the case on all of these? All right, we can look at potentially, we can go to the results screen and we can see some of this information, right? For winning, I got a goon squad and I got $262,000 of income, right? So 272. So immediately I get like $272,000 for winning, is my understanding. And I got that goon squad. Now, what really interests me is apparently I was only fighting for $400,000 total, whereas these guys were fighting for $900,000 total, right? They were fighting for $900,000. And these guys were also fighting for $900,000. But I didn't see that listed anywhere. Right? I don't see that listed anywhere here. So why was I fighting for only $400,000 and everybody else was fighting for $900,000, which we saw on the results screen just fine? Like, I won. I won by a huge margin, right? Out of the 19 stocks purchased, I had 13 of them. So I won massively. But I still got less than this guy who took second. Because for some reason his mission was worth 900. Why? Like, why would this happen? Why would they get $900 split between them? This guy who got second here, he got $432,000 for taking second place. Why? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It bothers me, right? That's a thing we need to see changed, maybe, because I don't see why that would happen. Maybe it does have to do with the resource amount on the map. Maybe it has to do with how high the colony got upgraded. But I don't know, right? And if that's the case, if it's attached to how high we got the colony upgraded together, then that just makes for a very awkward game, all things considered, because it means you want your opponents to actually make a lot of money, just not quite as much as you did. And you only want to beat them by a hair, rather than beating them by a huge margin, right? And maybe that's part of what it is too, if they're just balancing with numbers and granting the AI more because they can. No, because, well, we can look at the results, right? We can see I didn't make $272,000 that game. I know I didn't make $272,000. I made like $170,000 from what I remember. And we can see here the $400,000 listed. I doubt that we made exactly $400,000 together, and they made exactly $900,000 together, and they made exactly $900,000 together, right? So I don't think that's what it is. Can I view old colony locations? Yeah, I can, actually, and I can see the amount of income listed on the colony after the fact, but I can't see the amount of income listed on the colony beforehand. And I don't know why that is. I don't know where that magical income number comes from. Maybe I could check the campaign rules real quick, which did get posted at some point, and see if that lists it somewhere. We can check, right? Instead of just flailing around asking questions the whole time. Let's see. Updated campaign rules. If this is going to tell me page not found, which is what it's trying to do right now, I'm going to get so mad. What do you mean page not found? Come on. Can I get to other pages on Mohawk's game stuff? Yes, I can. But that page isn't there anymore. Why isn't that page there anymore? So guys, we don't know the campaign rules. Yeah, you can see stock price during the game and what's influencing it, which is important. And obviously I should be able to hit previous and see what happened before, but I can't because interestingly enough, hitting previous and next seems to be rotating the planet. Check that out, guys. Okay, there we go. So basically I can rotate the planet like this, but when I'm hitting this button, it's not doing anything. So that's a bit buggy because I should be able to check past missions as well. We've played through 2 missions at this point. And like I could scroll over this, I can see, okay, I won that one and it was income 400,000. I have no idea why. And compare that to this one of 800,000. Maybe it is just purely shares purchased in the colony that determines that, but I don't think that's a good method. That's actually a different page than the one I had before. So what they did was they changed the date apparently on it. They updated it and for whatever reason, like just made a new page instead of the old page. So what I had done was I went to Reddit and I clicked on the link there, which was to the old page where Tigersock had posted it. And it doesn't redirect to this new page. It just throws out page not found. So that's an issue in their website, and that's whatever. But thanks for locating that for me. I was just coming to it from somewhere where the link was broken because that particular page no longer existed. Let's see. Let's see if I control F income here. At the end of the mission, the colony starts producing residual income. The amount of income is relative to the total population of the colony, and the income is then divided in proportion to the shares of colony stock owned. For example, if the colony produces an income, okay, so we do know income is based in the colony and its population. That seems a bit ridiculous to me because it encourages too much cooperation, to my mind, right? I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I can understand this idea of wanting to grow the colony and have that be a cooperative effort that would influence things. But why should my money be determined by how well my opponents did? Because I'm trying to make my opponents do worse most of the time. That would make sense, right? They're my opponents. I don't want them to succeed. I want myself to succeed. I don't know, guys. It does explain a lot about why the campaign is so exceptionally difficult for me, because I'll focus on doing things like shutting people down rather than just enhancing myself. You know, I want to block other people. That's my goal most of the time. But it's very interesting. It's very, very awkward, that idea in the campaign. Yeah, exactly. It makes sense from an idea of, and from a roleplay idea, but I don't think it makes sense as a game mechanic. Yeah, and Qubit, that's exactly how income is split up, but it's this idea of how you get to that max income number that throws me off in particular. Like, I have to rely on my opponents to buy into the colony in order for me to get the same share as other people did. I don't know. It's odd. It's just odd to me. Well, let's buy an electronics factory. I guess we hold everything else. We're still making like no money. Our income is just awful because of how we've been playing the campaign out so far. But it's very strange because suddenly it takes away a lot of the competitive part, it feels like. I don't know. Let's get to another mission, guys. We can keep going and talking through the next mission. Well, my rewards for this time are Pirates, Cold Fusion, and Water Engine. So I guess we know which mission I'm taking.
Low levels of silicon found.
Man, if I got to a point where my only things available to me as a robot were water engine and cold fusion, I'd get so mad. I would just quit that campaign outright, I think. Oh, come on. Can we get a more... I know it's a rare resource map, but it's still frustrating not being able to find actual plots of resources anywhere. I'm assuming most of this is silicon in this area. Yeah. We'll just ignore the rest of it. Okay. Some iron, not a lot yet. Just keep poking around. Alright. Well, the campaign, it wasn't challenging in its previous form, and now I worry that it's challenging in an unfortunate and bad way. A way that doesn't really work for the game very well. This is actually silly, and I'm just going to do it. We'll found here. We'll take those 2 tiles. Okay, he found a decent source of aluminum. I do find it interesting that the computer seems to try and wait for you to found at this point. Like every time. I'm burning oxygen at the glass furnace, which I need to immediately scrap because it's useless. At least I have oxygen, so I can just sell that. I can sell the glass that I made. I can sell the silicon. I only lost a little bit of money there. It's so dumb that I throw that building down, that free glass furnace, and then I have to immediately turn it off or it is costing me money, right? And then I just wanted to do this and connect all these up because I can. Not because it's a good idea. Okay. Population's at 2 out of 3 on the colony, so we'll want to maybe grow a house before too long, because apparently it said colony size from what I saw. Right? And so we apparently want the colony to grow very quickly and very early on if we can manage it. So let's upgrade.
Hardware upgrade complete.
How much aluminum is he bringing in? He's got really bad metal mines. So the question is, do we try and punish his aluminum and actually go about that route and just try to power through so hard ourselves? Or do we not do that? That's basically the question, right? Which one is better? Try and strangle him out of the economy and just grow the colony on our own to massive proportions? I don't know. No, I agree, X-Jammer. It's a bit silly, because it's like... Why would I have to go outside the game to know the rules of the game, right? That's the kind of thing I'm a bit more forgiving of, because early access, and I don't care that much, frankly. But the game design is the real part where I'll yell and scream at the top of my lungs, where I'm like, no, this is not all right, and it needs to change. Okay, food shortage. For example, this food shortage. I am going to turn my $10,000. I just tanked the price on everything because I could. Because I want to turn my $10,000 into more than $10,000. So let's see what... I had a little less than $10,000. It was 9,000 something after my full sell, right? Let's see how much I'm sitting on now. $15,000. I made $6,000 by sitting there. And now I upgrade for $4,000. And I guess we'll buy... We have to buy a house and something else at the same time, right? Maybe we can afford that. Housing, we can almost push, we can like push to an office, right? Okay, now the colony is growing again. But it's a very interesting thing to have to do. Well, we can either use superconductor or use our wind turbines. Solar power is still not that bad. Let's see what kind of... Well, this solar power is pretty bad. But with superconductor, it's probably still better to do it than my wind turbines. Oh, steel shortage. Sure, I'll take money. Why not? Same general idea, and I really hate these shortages because I'm making $500 a second by sitting here doing nothing right now. I still don't think these are a good idea in the game. Electronics shortage. I guess we can try buying into that. It doesn't work as well because it's electronics, but now it gives me a very easy transition later on, at least, right? And this is the best way to make money in the early game. Did shortages pop up? Okay, good job. You made money. Congratulations. I don't really care about a geothermal plant, but I have to bid against this guy and hope that he just keeps bidding higher because it's a computer and, you know, that's how you beat them. There, 18,000. I'll let it go for 18,000. I doubt he'll get 18,000 of benefit out of having a geothermal plant engineer, especially a temporary one for this mission only. It is worth noting he has an off-world astronaut unlocked. Alright, we made some money there again. We could try growing the colony again, but we'd have to purchase 2 things, and that's kind of expensive, so it's probably better just to upgrade ourselves.
Improving efficiency.
Get our 7 claims, and then just start throwing down real resources. Silicon there. We could get nice carbon all the way over here. It only costs power. Might be worthwhile to go that far. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and actually get some power down. I think I was talking about solar panels. Yeah, we'll go with solar panels. They'll be better with superconductor, so. Some solar panels. We got some silicon. We could move into more steel. Probably not the best idea. We could get more silicon even. That might be all right. Sure, why not? Silicon's up at $67 right now for some reason. Really have no idea why, but it is. Let's just try that. Yeah, I know. It's just, the single player just feels so weird to me, guys. It feels really awkward and weird, and I don't like that. I don't know why it has to feel awkward and weird. I feel like it should fit in a bit better with the actual gameplay, right? Because it doesn't feel like I'm playing the game here, necessarily. Not the actual game that's behind everything that I should be enjoying and interested in. But I'm not engaged by anything in the single player yet. And that's the kind of thing I can forgive for now. Like, not having a story is kind of like, whatever, it's early access. The story can get tossed in later for all I care. You know what I mean? But I want the gameplay itself to be engaging and interesting and fun. And I'm not feeling it. I feel like the idea is there. But we're not there yet. We're not even really all that close from what I can tell. There's just a vague idea functioning in the background. And maybe one day that idea can grow into something real and something interesting and something good. But it's just not there right now.
New directives received and confirmed. Replicators online.
I'm just going to do one of these.
Upgrade in progress. Stand by.
I mean, electronics are worth a lot for now. There could be a random surplus that completely destroys that for no discernible reason other than to screw with me. But they're good for now. We'll throw down a goon squad. And like, I almost don't want to black market this guy because I want him to do okay so I can get more money. Also, I have no idea how the computers do so amazing against each other that they all have like 20 stock price and they do ridiculously well. And then they come up against a player and they just immediately die. It feels more like it's programmed in. Here's what the result of that campaign turns out to be. Because of X, Y reason, right? Rather than, here's an actual campaign that got played out. And it feels like the only thing you want to do to your opponent most of the time is give them a lot of debt. That way they still have a lot of money to do stuff with. But their stock price is lower, which can hopefully get them eliminated and not you, right? It's very strange. It's very strange not having that element of competition to it that I feel like needs to be there. All right, let's keep growing the colony. Housing. Office, because electronics consumption, even though it seems fairly negligible, still better than nothing. Would I agree that the market should have actual size to it, as buying 100 glass early in the game will drive the price up much higher than if you were to do 100 units in the late game? Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I kind of agree that that kind of thing should happen. Oh, I totally missed a glass short because of all this. Anyway, that's a lot of money down the drain. Well, regardless, I kind of agree that would happen. My big concern about it, though, is if that kind of thing is happening, it could make it so that an early lead is even more of a runaway than it already is, right? Because you kind of just run away with an early lead right now. And it's not very hard, quite frankly, to run away with an early lead unless you get shut down hard by black market. And so, like, let's say everybody found it expansive. You happened to found a hair faster than they did, pushed to the upgrade a little bit faster, got those slightly quicker sells on those resources. And then you bought up 100 glass, and glass's price is now $120, and nobody else has any, and you've won the game just based on that. That's my concern with that kind of thing, generally speaking, if that makes sense.
8,000, 10,000, 14,000,
Okay.
22,000.
Yeah, okay, sure, go for it. I don't care. Let's see. Let's upgrade. Actually, I'm going to jack up the price on silicon, so hopefully he steals that. Like, I just want to encourage him that direction.
The black market is
Steal my silicon, jerk. Steal it! You know you want to. Throw down your pirates already so I can actually start using these resources. There we go. There, enjoy your silicon, jerk. Computers are kind of dumb, and you can get away with doing that kind of thing to them fairly easily, actually. All right, housing, offices. Housing, offices. Max colony size is 10, right, is what it says. So does that mean I can only get my colony up to 10 people this mission for whatever reason? Do I just buy a bunch of housing and then a bunch of offices and call it good? Is that the most I can do? Can I spend the rest of my time punishing my opponent? Or can they also potentially have to buy this particular amount in order for us both to get all of our resources? I don't know. Honestly, I just don't. I know that after I can stop by, at some point I always know that I can't buy into the colony anymore, right? And at that point, I just straight up buy neutral stock from what I can tell. You know, from that point onward. How are all these doing? Steel mills are losing money, I think. Yeah. A fair amount of money, actually, because of power. And I'd rather pay off my debt with power right now, so that's fine. The mines are still all doing okay, although I do have a ridiculous amount of iron. And I don't really feel a way to influence the market based on all that either. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have made that buy, but whatever. So we'll just do this. I don't even care about prices anymore. Yeah, go ahead and expand. I don't care. Apparently, I want to encourage you to expand so you can buy into the colony and we can make more money, right? So I've bought into the colony as much as I possibly can. Can he also buy into the colony anymore, or does he have to buy colony stock? I don't know. Well, he got my silicon. Go him. And now we just sit here because we can't change around buildings. We can't make interesting plays. We don't have access to those advanced buildings because we've never had enough income to do so. So we're all just kind of feeling stagnant and stale right now. More than anything else is what I'm feeling. I'll have to play capitalism too at some point to get an idea of what you're talking about there, Cubit, but... See, I'm kind of okay with market prices dropping significantly in the late game in a lot of ways. What I would love to see are some better tools put in place to actually play with that market than the hacker array, which just feels... The hacker array feels inelegant and heavy-handed, to my mind, right? It just makes a bunch of fake buys and sells on the market, from what I can tell. And man, is that ever boring, right? And it doesn't even work very well from a game perspective, because of how the shorts and surpluses end up being, where they're basically just money multipliers for shorts, and then surpluses have very little effect on the market at all most of the time. I don't even feel a need to buy into this colony stock right now, because I know that if a short comes up, I'll take more benefit out of it than buying the colony stock, probably, just because I have a lot of money. Anyways. I'm not too concerned about this idea of prices going to zero. What I would love to see are more ways to influence demand so that doesn't happen. Like this neutral colony could be a fantastic system in the game for influencing the demand of the colony and how much pressure is actually being put in one place or another. I also want to point out, I'm a robot. I can do nothing about growing the colony faster at this point. I just have to sit here and watch it grow slowly. Anyways. Can I turn these on? Yeah, I can turn these back on. Let's actually make our money. Anyways. I would love to see systems like that put in place where you have more ways to influence the demand side of the game rather than right now the only good way to influence demand and actually increase demand is through the off-world market, which is good and I like it. I like the idea of the off-world market where you're increasing demand by selling to a different market. So you're basically you're not even necessarily increasing demand, you're just taking away some of the supply, right?
Robotic colony expanded.
So the off-world market, I think, works reasonably well at what it does. And then the obvious hacker array, right? The hacker array, obviously, is a significant adjustment to demand, but it works in such an inelegant fashion, I don't think it works very well for the game. Ioten, the game actually, from what I know, used to have a limit on, like a resource cap, the number you could have in total. So I know that used to be there, and I think it got removed just for gameplay purposes, and I'm actually okay with that general idea of, yeah, we took it out because, frankly, it wasn't fun, and it was kind of difficult to understand, and it was annoying. And that's my understanding. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't, completely quote me on it, but I think that used to exist, and I think those were the general ideas behind getting rid of it. Anyways, but yeah, I want to see influencing something like influencing the neutral colony to increase demand could be terribly interesting to me. Something like having a building like the hacker array, but more elegant with like smaller. Oh, good, an electronic surplus. Hold on. With just slightly adjusted changes to how it all works. Don't have it be this heavy-handed, blunt weapon that it is right now. Have it be a more elegant kind of flow of the game. Like, I'm going to pretend that there's an extra expansive HQ on the map that nobody knows about, and it just consumes resources. Why couldn't the hacker array be something like that to influence the game? You guys know what I'm saying? What do you guys think about all this? Think about this idea of adjusting the game's supply and demand systems in a different way. I don't know, guys. Just let me know what you think. Because I see people talking in chat. And yeah, Offworlds, I actually mostly like Offworlds where they are now. I don't like the inconsistency of them. Right? I don't like that portion of it, the inconsistency of the Offworld. But I like the idea of the Offworld, and maybe it does need some tweaking and some fine-tuning. But I like the idea of it, and I think that's one of the better things in the game. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Well, our opponent completely fell flat on his face and never got a single stock purchased. So there's that. Let's see how much income we actually got out of that. Okay, so that mission, we fully upgraded the colony as much as we could, almost entirely on our own. And we got $950,000 of income for it. So that made a bit more sense, kind of understanding what exactly our goal needed to be. Not necessarily shutting down our opponent, but caring for the colony as much as we possibly could. and then we got some kind of benefit out of it. So maybe that's a bit better, especially now that we see where income is coming from. And it's clear, but it's not clear anywhere in the game where income is coming from, right? Also, we got $1 million, right? We did as much upgrading of the colony as we possibly could that game. We fully upgraded the colony, even. If you want to look at it that way, we fully upgraded our colony. For some reason, everybody else still made more money than we did, right? Like, we got the biggest share total, which is good because we completely destroyed our opponent this particular time, right? He did nothing all game. But overall, these players had more money distributed between them. I don't know. It's very interesting. So even winning in quite that ridiculous fashion, we only made 320,000 more than this guy right here. It's weird. It's just weird. But at least we don't have water engine or the cold fusion, so it could be worse, I guess. Interestingly enough, I can back up one mission, but I can't back up to the first mission. I don't know why that is. And that is a fair point, Vin. The names, like the game, you are generally doing the same thing every time, but with the names of the resources changing. I think if the resources, like, they're fairly distinct, and I think that's the big difference, is like how you produce resources being different, in that chems are different from glass, are different from electronics in an important way that I don't think can be discounted, but I don't feel like I have enough ways to play with those systems at all. You know what I mean? I just want more ways to play around in this economy. It's basically what I'm complaining about. I just want more to do. Like the engineering lab, I'm totally fine with. But the engineering lab, at the end of the day, just increases supply, right? The Pleasure Dome is kind of awkward, and I actually hate the Pleasure Dome because it's boring. I'll be honest, I hate it because it's boring. The patent lab I absolutely love because some of the patents are so interesting and so dynamic, and I just want more of that. I don't want this boring stuff that we've got right now that's in the game. But that's just me, and I don't know. Maybe the game is already too complicated. Some people have said that too. But I don't think it's all that complicated, quite frankly. I don't know. Well, let's grab a hacker array because it's a hacker array, right? And it's easier to just grab a hacker array and say our resource we can make is worth a lot than to actually play the game. So let's do that. We could just upgrade electronics again. Just make a lot of electronics, hack electronics, call it a day. Might be worthwhile. Because the other options are to just grab a glass furnace or an electrolysis reactor. And while that definitely has merit in its own way, it's still kind of awkward because we're not set up to use the electrolysis reactor or the glass furnace even. Not very well. Glass furnace, I think, is arguable. We could use a glass furnace at times. But it's not a very good glass furnace yet. And so I would kind of be purchasing it in the hopes that later on it would be valuable, right? I think I'll just grab an electronics factory because it's simple and easy and obvious. Let's see. We can get an aluminum shipment or virtual reality, neither of which is really worth anything. So I think we'll just go for the aluminum shipment. That way we can maybe cut back on aluminum mines a bit earlier, later, that kind of thing. A bit earlier than we usually do. Let's start mission.
Medium levels of
Interestingly enough, I have
found.
my pirate symbol up here already,
Low
which is kind of
levels
weird.
Carbon found. Medium levels of aluminum found. Low levels of silicon.
Well, we found iron.
Medium
We found
levels of
carbon.
iron found.
We found silicon down
High
there.
levels
Not a
of
lot of
water
silicon, but
found.
usable silicon. There might be a bit more up here-ish. Well, let's check around the map real quick. Silicon's probably up here this way. We can keep poking around a little bit, maybe. Water. Aluminum. That's probably silicon. Not for sure, but probably. Let's just go ahead and found. This is a decent found location we can definitely use.
Site P4275 scanned and acquired. Commencing
Oh, come on. See, it threw it down over here. I can't use that at all. I'm just going to turn it off. I can't use that tile, though,
Scientific colony found.
which is annoying. Let's just make another iron claim. We have pirates if we want to use them. Oh, are you going to really do this right now? Alright, it's not completely in the way. That's fine. Need jobs for the population. Like, for some reason, and it really also feels kind of awkward that the colony seems to have a random start idea to it. Like, right now, this colony started with one house and then a bunch of jobs for some reason, right? And now I'm being late to the steel buy that I need to execute, so that's going to cause me a lot of problems. Because I'm talking for some reason. Come on. And now we're going to be behind pretty much literally all game. Oh well. I do have the option to pirate some steel. I might just do that for simplicity's sake. Steel's easy and good. How much is sitting in there? 13? Yeah, we'll wait for him to get out that other steel mill and then we'll pirate it probably. This is probably going to go on top of right where I want to put my steel mills though. Nope, it's going over here. Good. That's fortunate, because that would have been quite frustrating. Electronics factory engineer. I mean, we could potentially get something out of this, but the computers are probably going to drive it up to such a ridiculous price, it's not worth it. We'll go up to 18,000. 22 is too high. Not worth. Almost certainly not worth. For some reason, the other guy isn't fighting over it at all, which is quite strange to me. And I need to get a colony office purchased basically as fast as I can manage, just so the colony actually starts growing before too terribly long. So that's another thing to look into.
Hardware upgrade complete.
Alright, let's get down our steel. Let's go ahead and get these pirates down as well. Just put them here.
I hate those filthy bandits.
We should have a fair amount of steel before too long. I think this guy sent some early. Because I don't think he built up to the full 40. Yeah, he's sending early a lot. Okay. Well, whatever. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, we got lucky. What do you know? That's strange. Black market's online. I guess we can try and use it, right? We almost have the funds. We could also just buy an office building before too long. I don't know. Let's go for the black market claim. Go ahead and grab some of this close carbon. We've got some close silicon as well. Yeah, let's go for the silicon first. That should be fine. It's all very interesting things going on in chat right now. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in seeing if players post ideas on things you could do with Offworld and how you could change it to make it maybe better or more interesting, or, you know, how do you want to actually play the game? You get what I'm saying?
And confirmed. Replicators online.
I'm curious about that, about what other people think about that sort of thing. Because I know I've had some ideas bouncing around in my head here and there, but I'm really interested to know what everybody else thinks. I guess we could just start moving into the hacker array right now. I don't really see the point yet, though. It might be better just to throw down power in the short term. Like, secure the carbon, secure the silicon. That's what we've been doing. And then I guess HQ level 4 power and HQ level 5 electronics. Maybe power plus hacker array at 4. Because we can hack power without any problems, right? It doesn't really slow them down at all, except that it makes them throw down more power, which isn't making them money. And then, of course, we have that ever-present colony in the background that we need to deal with. Sure, I'll bid a little bit. There, 8,000. Enjoy. I really don't think it's worth it. Alright, yeah, upgrade, sure.
Scientific colony
Beginning
expanded.
construction. Reticulating splines.
And at least upgrading. Another thing upgrading does quickly as a robotic is it puts more of that consumption of robotics into the game. So at least robotics, electronics, sorry, it puts the consumption of electronics in the game so that maybe the electronics price will get driven higher a bit faster and we can actually make some money based on that.
Black market is
That's an idea.
Robotic colony expanded.
Sell off some steel. I'd love to use the black market. I don't see how. I'd love to do it. There we go. And let's just start getting some of these solar panels down. Because superconductor. And I'm not seeing a lot of dust storms this time. Which is good, because I hate dust storms. And I really don't like them in the game very much at all. Yeah, Vin, I think that could be a very interesting addition to the gameplay. I don't mind this general idea of most of what you do is try and figure out the market and how it interacts. But for now, it feels like very straightforward decisions that you make in regards to that, right? You do just kind of put down the building that is going to make the most money, and that takes a lot to look at because you have to understand both what prices are now and what prices will be later, which is important. It's an important little addition to it. But I do think, I wish you could change more about it. You could influence the market in a more interesting way. In a good way. Not a hacker array way. Not a hacker array way. Never a hacker array way. Okay. And so, no, I kind of agree. I don't mind the current gameplay. I wouldn't want to see the current gameplay taken away. But I would like to see some enhancements to it, some changes that would help out. And it doesn't have to be ridiculous, right? Especially in a multiplayer scenario, you have to be very, very careful about making things overcomplicated, obviously.
Full hardware upgrade complete.
But you can do interesting things still.
Freelance pirates are auctioning their services to the highest bidder.
10,000, 14,
I don't really care. They're pirates. They're not worth a whole lot at this point, in my opinion.
22,000.
I'm wondering if we have enough aluminum coming in, or if maybe I should have thrown down an extra
Black
aluminum
market
mine.
is online.
Oh, carbon short.
Pirates. I hate those filthy bandits.
Well, we've got carbon income, so that's not the worst thing ever. It's not great, though, because we have electronics factories coming up. Don't really want to be seeing a carbon short through that. There we go. Just to make sure we're not burning any money we don't have to. I'll leave on that middle one. Alright, let's go ahead and sell out. Everything else can turn on. Why not? Okay, an office. There. Unfortunately, growth is already down at this point because food and oxygen are expensive. But we don't have any way to do anything about that because we're robotic. Like, the best we could do is scrap here, move into this hack array, and just start surplusing them, right? We can sell off the little bit of oxygen we have, probably from a shipment. Maybe that'll help out. But then I'm probably just going to keep building offices because I don't see a point in building anything else for a while. A little more aluminum. Oh, we got nuked. So yeah, a lot more aluminum would be nice. Let's go ahead and move into a claim. Because of that, let's go ahead and get down another aluminum mine. Not that mine. That mine. Slightly different, but slightly better
Robotic
in its
colony
difference.
expanded.
Scientific colony expanded.
Okay. Offices are expensive because glass is expensive. That shouldn't be any real surprise, but I would like to push to one more. And then I'm going to need a goon squad in 100 seconds as fast as I can. My aluminum was getting pirated and then nuked. It's just a very, very special game sometimes. Alright. Let's see. I'm just going to short electronics. Simple. Well, no, let's not do that right away. Let's actually not do that right away. I'm going to surplus food. Then I'm going to surplus oxygen. Just try and keep this colony growing. And then I'll hack electronics later once I have a giant stockpile of them. Well, the aluminum revenue is nice. I could also just mutiny here, but I really do want to goon squad this. I do have an extra claim still that I get. Yeah, I just received a new claim as a reward. And like in campaign, maybe that's not the worst thing ever, but it is kind of awkward Because I had my plan laid out. Just stop auto-selling power.
Our hackers have compromised the trading
And now my plan
service.
is broken. And it's not broken in a terrible way that's like, oh, I'm super punished. And my plan is completely dissolved before my eyes. But it's still just kind of awkward. I guess I could just take more aluminum. I mean, it's a claim. May as well do something with it. Dynamite, alright. It's painful, but it's not too bad. And I could comment on this more, but now we're kind of seeing the issue with the campaign, where right now I'm just doing the exact same thing every single time, with mild modifications based on my reward, right? It's odd. Let's go ahead and get that electronics hack down.
The black market is online.
And once again, the hack array still feels kind of necessary for this sort of thing. No, Vin, I would also kind of like to see stuff like that put in play as well, if I'm honest. Could be a lot more interesting, in my opinion. Well, we already made so many electronics, we've kind of destroyed the price on them. So we didn't get to that short very quickly. We'll just leave them off for now. With aluminum so expensive, there's no reason to consume aluminum to make electronics at this point. I hate that my aluminum's getting stolen, though. That's kind of annoying.
We're not surprised.
Seriously?
Just disappointed in you.
Whatever. Okay, we have a hack coming in. We may as well use it in a moment here. And then we'll just hack something else completely different, like, you know, aluminum.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
And then we'll start actually buying into things again. This guy, I think, pirated all of our aluminum, which for some reason got ridiculously expensive, as we also got nuked out, so
Robotic colony expanded.
that's just unfortunate, but more or less the way it is. Chems would also be a fantastic thing to hack in a lot of ways. I'll have to think about that. We could hack some chems. And just buy enough into the colony to make sure it keeps growing for the time being, I think. Like, we want to make buys into the colony because they're cheaper at the beginning, and we do want to stay ahead of our opponent in that regard. But we also just want to sit on a bunch of money because hacks. You know? It's very strange. Ah, I seriously got mutinied? Rude. Okay. Let's buy some housing. Let's buy another office building. Another office building, sure, why not? Everything else can sit there. We'll turn back on auto sell power. My electronics would make me money now because electronics did kind of land reasonably high in price. So we'll turn those back on as soon as they're unfrozen. Yeah, and even with aluminum, this expensive electronics are still making money. Works for me.
Price manipulation begins shortly.
Uh-huh. Okay. Gotta decide what to short next. I think it's going to be chems. At least our opponent is actually doing something this game. I don't know where he's getting all his money from, frankly. Probably just these aluminum mines, but at least he's doing something this game. It is really just these aluminum mines, isn't it? That's ridiculous. Okay. Sure, more offices. Why not? Let's grab another mutiny. Oh, it actually worked this time. What do you know? Let's see, I have a chem hack going in. We'll buy into that significantly. Still have all kinds of aluminum coming in. Still have electronics coming in, which is nice. Our opponent's actually equal with us in stock in the colony still. That's kind of ridiculous how much money they had in aluminum. Maybe we could start building laboratories to kind of use our electronics in that different fashion would be all right. Could have actually bought into leisure before we completely, you know, jacked the price on that up. We'll keep waiting. The colony is still growing. I don't see any need to worry about it for the time being.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
Alright, we got our opponent to throw down chems. That's nice. Because chems aren't actually worth anything. They just look like they're worth something. And maybe we'll just toss out another electronic short. Yes, yes, yes. Energy shortage, which we are using quite well. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I think the game has potential behind it to be very interesting. I just think it needs a little bit more than it has right now attached to it. I'll be honest. Like, I see something interesting in the game that I'm hoping turns into what I want it to be in the future. Because the gameplay feels good in a lot of ways. The gameplay does feel good to me. I just want more out of it is all. Which, I don't know, maybe you guys kind of disagree with that on some level, but that's what I see in the game. I'm going to have to buy a lot of stock on the last day. It is the last day at this point. You're still making a ridiculous amount of money somehow.
Price manipulation begins shortly.
I have no idea where he's getting all his money from at this point, because he still has an insane amount of it. Like, he's not actually making money anywhere right now. He doesn't have an Offworld established. I think it was all just these aluminum mines until they finally ran dry and aluminum hit $15. Alright. We might have time for one more short. I doubt. I'm not going to worry about it, though. We'll just sell off everything and start actually buying into things a bit more. Unfortunately, the colony's just not going to grow fast enough. I have no idea how to get it to grow faster. In a lot of ways. Like, it's going to be on population 10 at the end. I don't know what more we could have done to change that a whole lot. Sure, turn off the steel. Electronics are still making bank, of course. Buy more offices. We can buy a bunch of lab... There, buy some housing. That's as much as we can do, and now we can just put the rest of it into stock. I don't need to worry about it, though, because nobody else can even remotely afford stock at this point, so I'll just wait, see if a shortage comes out that we can use at the end of the game. Could have hacked glass. That might have been a good option. Hacking glass. But it's too late now to worry about. Too late to actually use the hacker array. Maybe the colony will get up to 11. Maybe it'll get up that high. I'm honestly not sure. Unfortunately, oxygen, for whatever reason, is still insanely expensive, and everything's jumping around a lot right now. Like, a bunch of prices just changing around for whatever reason. Oh, it's probably these off-world markets. Like, this robot put up off-worlds, it looks like, and now he's sending everything off-world, so it's just slowing down the colony's growth. Very strange.
We're not surprised.
Seriously?
Just disappointed in you.
I'm surprised. Well, no big shorts or surpluses coming in because they don't have time to complete at this point. I'm not even going to bother to repair that. I'd rather have all my stuff.
Scientific colony expanded.
And it looks like that's going to just about do it. Alright, so how much did we get out of this one where one of our opponents did a little bit better? Or did significantly better, I should say. But still, it was mostly hacks, guys. That's how we made our money, let's be honest. We were like, oh man, I can sit on a pile of money and make more money. This hack here on chems are a really good thing to look at because chems were purely the hack, right? I made $67,000 on a chem hack. Just the hack. That was it. And electronics, I obviously, I did 2 electronics hacks. It's a lot harder to tell there, but $67,000. I didn't even pay that much for it. See, I wouldn't call it Candy Crusher of economic RTS. That's going a little too far into my mind. I do think I'd love to see it be more complex. I would like to see a little bit more added to it. I would like for some mechanics to be a little less heavy-handed, but I honestly think some small adjustments could do a lot of work toward pushing it there. And the hacker array not existing in its current form would definitely be one of those adjustments, right? Like, and the Pleasure Dome, I really don't like the Pleasure Dome, guys. Mostly because the way I see it is the Pleasure Dome is a building that could be more interesting and could be a different building altogether. It could be. Or maybe it should stay as it is, or in some similar form where it's attached to colony growth and give you a more direct interaction with the colony throughout the game, like we're seeing right now in this campaign. Yeah, we can switch to some PvP in a moment. I suppose it is a simple one, but on the other hand, most of those games, the downside is they are so complex it just drives people away, right? And so you can find a nice balance. Well, I'll pop out of here. Let's go ahead and see what the results were there. We got the colony up to making 1.1 million, so I got 638,000 in total. Not as much as the other guys. They got it up to 1.5 apparently. But they also had just an insane amount of stocks that they never would actually have in a real game for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why the computers are cheating. But it's quite clear to me that they are at this point, and that kind of bothers me. Alright guys, I'm going to go AFK for a couple of minutes. I'm going to host a 6-man lobby for